before we solve this question, let's make sure you understand a couple of concepts. To start, when a line intersects the x-axis, that point of intersection is commonly known as the x-intercept. And one thing you should recognize about any x-intercept is that the y value will always be 0. For example, if I draw this line like so, notice that when it intercepts the x-axis, the y value of that point of intersection would be 0. And the same thing would be true of this line over here. In other words, a line intersects the x-axis every time its y value equals 0. That is the key to solving this problem. So here, if y equals f of x, we want to identify all the instances where f of x can equal 0. Now, there are a couple ways we can do this, but one thing I want to share with you, something that catches my eye instantly, is the statement x squared minus 4. If you know your special equations, that is to say your FOIL identities, you should recognize that as x plus 2 times x minus 2. In other words, the f of x equals x times x plus 2 times x minus 2. And notice this, anytime any one of these three parentheses equals 0, f of x would also equal 0 because 0 times anything is 0. So let's think about what would make each of these three parentheses 0. In the case of the first parenthesis, if x is 0, that would do the trick. In the case of the second parenthesis, if x were negative 2, that would do the trick. And of course, in the case of the third parenthesis, if x were positive 2, that parenthesis would equal 0. In other words, there are three ways to make f of x 0. If x is 0, if x is negative 2, and if x is positive 2. And as we said at the beginning, whenever f of x is 0, that means we're dealing with the point of intersection on the x-axis, i.e. the x-intercept. And as we can see, there are three instances where f of x is 0, so we have three x-intercepts. And if that's the case, the two quantities are equal, and of course, anytime the quantities are equal, that means the correct answer is C.